Right, I've seen a lot of people talk about this Star Wars sequel trilogy and then comparing it to the original trilogy and comparing it to the prequel trilogy and saying, is this one better or worse, or what went wrong, what went right, and all that. But for me, I think that the problem with the sequel trilogy started with how it started. Yeah, the way it was, the whole premise is no good. Yeah, if you look at, I'm gonna give you an example. Some people might disagree with this, yeah, but I watched the Watchmen sequel series, and the way that they set up the world and the way it starts, because it's like 30 years later as well. Same with the sequel trilogy. And to me, whoa, the phone's about to fall to the fucking table. To me, the way they started that off, yeah, and the way they set the world up in that makes more sense than in the sequel trilogy. And that is why it started on shaky foundations to begin with, and why it all went fucked. Yeah, so if you look at Watchmen, it's set 30 years later, or was it 40 years later? I can't remember. But Dr. Manhattan's gone, just like how Luke's gone in the beginning of The Force Awakens. But everyone on Earth knows who Dr. Manhattan is. Everyone. They all know who he is. There's flipping shrines there. They've got the phone boxes all around so you can supposedly phone him up and ask for help or whatever. Like that, Luke in the Star Wars universe, he was kind of like their Dr. Manhattan. He saved the whole flipping galaxy from the Emperor, yeah, from Darth Vader. Do you know what I mean? He would be lauded as a hero all over the galaxy. Every planet would probably have shrines to him in every major city. You'd have shopping malls being named after him, all kinds of stuff like that. You'd have like seeing Watchmen, yeah, how you got the vibrator, like the blue vibrators getting sold of Dr. Manhattan, that Excalibur vibrators. There'd be like lightsaber vibrators being sold in honor of Luke Skywalker, so women could do themselves with that. This is what I'm saying. This is what would be the nature of my man's celebrity. Yeah. So then, when you watch the sequel trilogy, and they're saying Luke Skywalker's gone, and then you got Rey saying, "Oh, I just thought he was a myth," and you got people who just don't seem to know anything about the Force or anything. This thing would be broadcasted all over the whole galaxy. How in 30 years have people forgot? That's like me or someone in England or America or whatever forgetting after 30 years who Winston Churchill and Roosevelt were. Do you know what I mean? When they defeated Hitler or Stalin, like forgetting who Stalin was, or any of them people who took part in the war on Hitler. That's like forgetting who they were and thinking they were a myth. No. That's just dumb. That way that was written was real stupid, yeah. So that's a shaky foundation straight away. Then you got, what else is it that was real stupid? That sets up the sequel. Now, like a lot of people saying, oh yeah, the prequel trilogy is better than the sequels or whatever. The way I think about the prequel trilogy, yeah, they had a good story, but it was badly executed. Yeah, they just like the script should have been snappier and all this kind of stuff. It could have been executed a lot better, and they weren't, which is a shame because they had a good story. I was always thinking maybe as a TV series, the prequel story could be really good because it would show Anakin slowly turning to the dark side throughout like a 10 episode series, or maybe even 2 series. Do you know what I mean? That would be more convincing than what we got in Revenge of the Sith. Or I watched the Red Letter Media people cussing the prequel trilogy, and I did agree with them that it would be good if you had Anakin as a grown up already at the start of it, and then you could have like seen how he got turned a bit more gradually like that. There was no real reason to see him as a kid or anything. I don't know, innit? But that's my opinion anyway. But with the sequel trilogy, then you got like, obviously the obvious comparison saying that Force Awakens was just Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope rebranded, which for all intents and purposes it looked like it was. You had characters that weren't really fleshed out very well. Rey, the most you got to know her origins and everything, they did that pretty well in The Force Awakens with the little montage of her like working scavenging, seeing the old woman, thinking, oh, I'm gonna end up like her, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Yeah, that was pretty good. Finn was a wasted opportunity. Yeah, complete wasted opportunity. He had a lot of potential to be a deep character, child soldier. Do you know what I mean? Dealing with all that stuff, but then it's like maybe they thought, oh, this movie's meant to be for kids, yeah. Even though loads of adults are coming to it out of nostalgia, and that. Then they thought, oh, we better tone that down. So instead of making him have, recount all of his experiences of being a child soldier getting raised by the First Order, they had him be a janitor instead. Yeah. Now a lot of people are complaining about the political aspects of it. Now if you look at that, they put the only black character in there and they made him a janitor and a room cleaner. Like, so if you're gonna get vexed about some racism in this thing, get vexed about that. Yeah, because that's taking a stereotype back to the 19th century, early 20th century, when that's the only kind of jobs they'd give people of color in America in that time. So you can complain about that if you want. Yeah. Then what is it? Yeah, Finn, I think he was a wasted opportunity. They could have gone deep with him. He had the most interesting story out of him. Poe, he doesn't really have, they don't really give him any kind of depth or anything. He's there for a minute with Kylo Ren, and like that Mauler video points out, they make him do a lot of inconsistent things with the character. Like the guy just got killed and then he's being humorous while being next to a dead body. When you think about that, that doesn't really make sense. And I think the Mauler guy was right. They should have had him be humorous with Kylo Ren on the actual ship, like saying, oh, who's talks first, you or me, and all that kind of stuff. Because you've got a guy who's been sliced open and he's dead on the floor right next to you. So that tone is pretty weird there. Yeah, so Poe, I think it was wasted character, completely wasted. He has no development in The Force Awakens at all. And then in Last Jedi, they make him out to be a prick, even though he blew the dreadnought up. And if he didn't blow that thing up, if they didn't do that, that thing would have been following them and could have just blown up their cruiser easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You know what I mean? So like this whole, but you're meant to think that he's a dick, yeah, for doing what he did, and for also mutinying against Admiral Holdo because she doesn't tell him what the plan is. I don't know, man. These things there, they just like, come on, man. This is pretty crap. And then the way you've got the original characters, so they include them in the trailer. They say they're going to be in. A lot of the older people who grew up with this original trilogy are going to come back for them. Yeah, but you don't even put them in one scene together. Do you know what I mean? You only bring Lando in the third film. Like, why wasn't he in the first one? Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I read the Timothy Zahn books that were set 5 years after it, and they were way better. Do you know what I mean? You get going to the Republic, all this stuff. You learn about all of that. They set the world up way better than this. Like, why is the Republic? Why do they not have a big flipping fleet? Why are they not hunting down the First Order? Why are they letting the First Order come about? Like, none of that's explained in the film. And if that's explaining all these other books and stuff that they released, then that shows the film's weak, because the film should be telling you that. Do you know what I mean? Like in the first Star Wars film, it told you everything you need to know. You didn't need to read the book to know what was going on. It's all explained in the film. So why is there a thing called the Resistance? Like, what's going on? This is crazy. Like, Leia should be in charge of the flipping Republic's fleet or army. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's all I don't know, man. It's just like weird. The way they wrote it was real weird. So I mean, if they're trying to make a comparison between World War One and Two, you could have done that. Yeah, you could have done that, but you could have said it's like the Republic would be like Britain and France trying to appease the First Order. But realistically, I don't think it would be like that, because that First Order represents the empire that ruled the whole galaxy, and they got took down, and everyone knows all of the bad things they did. Everyone knows they blew up Alderaan, they killed millions, of people. Yeah, they blew up all these places. They killed so many people. After all those sins have been exposed, that's not gonna. The people are not gonna want to let that happen again. You look at World War II when it got exposed, all the crimes that Nazi Germany did. People were on them hard. Nuremberg trials, they were on them hard. Yeah, and any time that they were trying to resurge in South America or something, Mossad was sending agents in and killing them and taking them out. Do you know what I'm saying? So if that's what they're trying to go for, they failed there as well. So they're failing on every aspect so far, apart from, for me, the Finn had potential, which they wasted. Rey's first montage of her was pretty well done. Then, like, I think in Han Solo, you just make him out to be like a deadbeat dad, basically, just a waste man. He just went back to flying around smuggling. Like in the expanded universe stuff before, he had a much better character arc. You know what I'm saying? He didn't just revert. Here you got him just reverting. Yeah. What the fuck? Luke, when you finally meet him in Last Jedi, like he's grouchy. He's not like his old self. And yeah, that can work for a bit, but then you've got to give him that arc to redeem himself, and it kind of did at the end, but I don't know, man. It was just like it was all just, I don't know. It just felt unfulfilling, the whole thing. Like he redeemed himself and then just died. Yeah. And then if you even think about it, like Carrie Fisher died when they're making that film. They had her die in the film and then come back to life. Even the way she died was stupid. Like the Kylo Ren just shot 2 torpedoes. He killed everyone in the whole hangar bay. Where the shields? Like even after that, you see all the firing on the Radis, and the shields are stopping the blast. So how come his what's going on then? Like he just killed everyone in the hangar bay, and then he just fires 2 shots at the bridge, and the whole bridge blows up, and they all get sucked down. Like that's stupid as well. Admiral Akbar dying, that was stupid. Like why you going? What is going on? Seriously, what is going on? And then the whole thing with Princess Leia being able to put her back to the place, the Force thing. You know, she's just alive in space. Her blood hasn't boiled. She's not. What? Like, what's going on? But she's got no force field around her that she's magically made or anything. I don't know, man. It's just weird, isn't it? Like even the bit where he was gonna torpedo the bridge and it blows up. They could have said something like, "Oh, our shields have gone down" or something, and then it blows up. So I don't know. But then after that, Colin Trevorrow, who's gonna do the third one, was like, he wanted Luke alive in it, and that makes more sense because the actor's actually alive. So you could have had Princess Leia die in that one, and then Luke be the guy in the third one. I thought Harrison Ford coming back in the third one, I wasn't expecting that because I thought he hates Star Wars and everything because he's like really bitter against it for some reason, even though it made his career. But he's like, I thought his scene was pretty good. He actually put some effort into it. And even in The Force Awakens, I thought he put effort into it. Like in Indiana Jones 4, he just seemed like he was really bored. Apart from that scene when they're in the restaurant and he's talking to that Mutt Williams guy. That was the only scene it looked like he was actually putting effort into. But, it's all a bit mad. It's just mad. The whole premise is crazy. People complaining about the Emperor coming back. Like, I remember in the Dark Empire comics, the Emperor came back. And when you read them now, I don't know, man, it wasn't really that well constructed. Instead of him being like he was, he's just like a raging madman in them, like Empire's End and the Dark Empire 1 and 2 and that. But yeah, I don't know if they're better or worse than this. So Disney getting rid of all the previous expanded universe stuff, I think they made a big mistake. I think they could have drawn on that. And if they were gonna just have like with Ghostbusters 2016 when they had Bill Murray and all of them guys in it, but they were just these really stupid cameo things that were just pointless. If you're gonna do that with the new Star Wars trilogy, you shouldn't have done it. Because people love these characters. So if you're gonna do them dirty, you've got to be prepared for a big backlash, and that's what you got. And then Solo failed, because people didn't want to go see that. I actually think Solo and Rogue One were better. They were better films than this new trilogy. Yeah, and people didn't want to see Solo because of The Last Jedi, because they lost faith in the people running this new thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and anyone who says it's all right wingers and blah 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 complaining, nah, man, it's not. Like, I'm not a right winger. Do you know what I mean? And people saying, oh, it's all racist and that. I'm mixed race. Like, what are you talking about? It's nothing to do with that. It's people want a good story. They want it well written. And people saying, oh, it's a kid's film and whatnot. Yeah, it's a kid's film. We're too old for this now. But they suckered you in because you grew up with this stuff. They suckered you in as an adult to go and see it again by putting those characters in that you liked when you were a kid. So that's why you went back to see it and stuff like that. So they fooled you, innit? Whereas, like, if they really wanted to go and do mad different stuff, what they should have done was set this like 100 years later, so all the original trilogy characters are dead, so they can't screw with them, and then set up new characters. So you can do like stuff with Rey, Finn, and all these guys, and you know, they can do everything they want, but they don't have to have them old ones. It just seemed like a cynical ploy. They brought the old ones back, and then they just treated them really badly anyway. Like, look at Lando. He comes back in the third one. He gets about 4 lines, no explanation about why he's been on this desert planet for 30 years. I saw in a leak that it was meant to be he's looking for his daughter. Why he would stay on that same planet looking for his daughter all the time, and then that girl who was a stormtrooper was going to turn out to be his daughter, and then they took that out apparently because they were afraid that people would say it's racist or something, him having her being his daughter, because they're the only 2 black characters in there or something like that. Well, then if that's what you're worried about, put more black characters in there, innit? Put more people in of all kinds of things. A flipping whole galaxy, innit? Why? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, this is crazy. The whole thing, it was doomed from the start. It was doomed from the start. From a writing perspective, it was terrible. Yeah, and you know, I think that they, like, Watchmen series did it a lot better. They did it a lot better, the way they carried on that world, and they looked at what kind of impact those characters would have had on the world. Like Rorschach, so many people know him when they read his diary, and quite a lot of the hardcore things he was saying in the diary, these people have used it as their like manifesto inspiration. And Dr. Manhattan, he's viewed as like some massive god celebrity thing because everyone knows him. That's what Luke would be like. Even Princess Leia, she would be like that. Han Solo would be like that as well. Yeah. How does Rey know about Han Solo but she doesn't know about Luke? I think he's a myth. That don't make no sense. Make no sense. Lando would be revered across the whole galaxy. This guy who blew up the Death Star. Wedge, where the hell was Wedge? He would be revered as well. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on? The expanded universe did it a lot better. They did that world building thing a lot better. And if you get time, check those books out. The Timothy Zahn trilogy. I haven't read the other ones, but they were pretty good. So I would just say that. But I think, yeah, the sequel trilogy, a big wasted opportunity. Yeah, they made money out of it, but then they lost money on Solo. And I'm hearing that this Rise of Skywalker is not doing as well as they hoped for. So that's the lesson, isn't it? So you got fucked up, man. You fucked up, man. You fucked up.